all cute and well and all fun when they could theorize and feed them conspiracy theories about all the Democrats who were possibly on this list. And now that their base expects delivery, they expect something to come from this. Now they're like, wait a minute, there was nothing there. This is all, nobody's going to buy it.
Started carrying this about 5 minutes ago. They only started carrying 5 minutes ago when it was a cudgel against Trump. So
they have many gigabytes of files in their possession that they don't need to go to a judge for, that they could release, and they haven't.
What rang like a rhyme is President Trump, when he first started to run, accusing Barack Obama of not being born in the U.S.
I'd like to know if the president's a pedophile.
I mean, look, it would have been out already during the Biden administration.
Then why not release the files?
Welcome back to this channel, guys. Let's go ahead and get straight into this reaction clip. I wanted us to react to this Newsweek clip from CNN. I just want to highlight the weird cognitive dissonance it seems Republicans are keeping between Donald Trump and Epstein. It doesn't really make much sense, and the hypocrisy of them trying to constantly push it on Democrats as if the onus is on us, as if Democrats ran on releasing the Epstein files, as if Democrats are trying to protect pedophiles. Because it's, every time I turn around, it's Democrats that are trying to put up motions and resolutions for the DOJ to be subpoenaed so that they can have the files within Congress so that they can actually do some oversight on this specific case. And it's Republicans that are constantly trying to block it. I mean, we all saw Speaker Mike Johnson literally run away from Washington this week because he does not want a vote on the Epstein files to come to the floor. But let's get straight into this video.
Breaking news tonight, President Trump's former personal attorney and the #2 official at the Justice Department has even more questions for Jeffrey Epstein's accomplice. Todd Blanche says that he plans to continue interviewing Ghislaine Maxwell tomorrow after their meeting today. Maxwell is a key witness in the case. She is serving 20 years in federal prison for helping Epstein groom and sexually abuse girls. Also tonight, new details on that book of birthday notes that Maxwell gifted to Epstein in 2003. The Wall Street Journal is reporting that the album also included a letter from Bill Clinton. In a statement obtained by CNN, a source says that Clinton has never been accused of wrongdoing and adds that he did not object to unsealing the documents when asked about it last year. Jemele Hill is with us at the table now. So more drip. And I should note that Trump just a little while ago, a couple hours ago, sent out yet another message about this Epstein saga, saying that the radical left Democrats are doing everything in their power to distract from our great 6 months of service to America. He says they've gone absolutely crazy and are playing another Russia. He calls it the Epstein scam.
This is just a delicious own goal for so many reasons. Listen, he was the one, him and the Republican Party, they were the one that kept feeding this insane conspiracy theory about who was in these files. And it was all cute and well and all fun when they could theorize and feed them conspiracy theories about all the Democrats who were possibly on this list. And now that their base expects delivery, they expect something to come from this. Now they're like, wait a minute, there was nothing there. This is all, nobody's going to buy it. So even if there is nothing there, which, I mean, let's be honest, at this point, on either side of the aisle, if they really had the goods on the other side, I think we probably would have known that by now. But the fact is, because of how he used this conspiracy theory to further solidify himself with his base, they're not going to buy whatever he says. So now he's got to produce some kind of smoking gun. And if there isn't one, nobody's going to believe it. So I'm just very satisfied by seeing him make such a huge unforced error.
I have to say, your use of the word delicious to start your comments, and then you're saying that you're very satisfied. But, we are talking about a situation here where young women were abused. This is a tragic case. Maxwell's in jail because she helped traffic the women. This is a very, very tragic case. I see Democrats and people on the left taking great political delight in this because they don't care one bit about the victims. They only started carrying this about 5 minutes ago. They only started carrying 5 minutes ago when it was a cudgel against Trump. So this kind of language where we just sort of laugh about the situation but forget the underlying issue, the victims here, to me, it's
so what's your solution to that problem? I mean, should they release the files? Like, what should happen here?
I have no problem with whatever transparency they can do.
And there you have Scott saying he has no problem with doing whatever transparency they can do. They're going to do the least amount of transparency possible. And it's always people giving Donald Trump's outs. He can release as much as he can release. He's trying to go for the transcripts, which we know he's about to say. Transcripts that, one, aren't going to be released. They're the least likely thing to be released when Donald Trump is sitting on in his DOJ department a bunch of information on the Epstein case. They have the case. Pam Bondi said it was on her desk. Why aren't they releasing the files? He released JFK. He released MLK. Release Epstein. He doesn't want to release it because his name is in the files, which is why they have 1,000 FBI agents working around the clock 24/7 to check if Donald Trump's name is in it, where it's in it, in what context. And that's the reason why it won't be released. But of course, we're going to have Scott Jennings giving an out to Donald Trump. I just can't believe like this guy can run for Kentucky senator because that's what he's rumored to be doing. He's going to be running for senator. Another person who's going to go into office to do nothing more than to satisfy the billionaires, the millionaires in this country, the Donald Trumps of this country, while the people like us who are victimized or can't afford this country are left behind. Well, let's keep on listening, y'all.
Obviously, they've gone to court to ask a judge on the grand jury that they've run into a roadblock there. They've got the deputy attorney general interviewing Maxwell. I don't know what they can and will release, but I have no problem with whatever transparency they come up with.
They have many gigabytes of files in their possession that they don't need to go to a judge for, that they could release, and they haven't. I do think this point about feeding into the conspiracies, which Ambassador Flake, you were making that point too. Karl Rove backed you up in an op-ed saying there's hell to pay when those who hype the conspiracy have closed the books on the case. Conspiracy theories undermine trust and cause chaos. And when they are believed by large numbers of people, truth and reality become subjective. But he points out none of that bothers Mr. Trump. And I think that is fundamentally what is at play here.
It is. I mean, I think all of us, when we heard President Trump now accusing President Obama now undermining his first term or the Russia thing and saying that he should be prosecuted, what rang like a rhyme is President Trump, when he first started to run, accusing Barack Obama of not being born in the U.S.
Yeah.
When you play in conspiracy theories, when you traffic in this stuff, it's going to come back to bite you. And it is. Because this was played up mostly by Republicans. And now they have to show something, and they aren't able to. And so the base is upset. And as Karl Rove pointed out, this is going to linger. And it'll linger for a while.
Yeah.
Well, Abby, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, number one. Number two, is there evidence of a new crime? That's what I've been waiting for. Because if there's no evidence of a new crime, what are we talking about this for?
I'd like to know if the president's a pedophile.
I mean, look, it would have been out already during the Biden administration.
Then why not release the files?
I mean, look, is there evidence of a new crime? If there is, let's prosecute to the end. If there's not, what are we doing? I mean, the guy's a pedophile. The guy's a creep. He was arrested, put in jail by Trump, by the way. The Trump administration arrested him, and he's suicided in jail.
But can I play this from Senator Mark Wayne Mullen? He's kind of saying the quiet part out loud here.
I'm sure this would be handled just like any other thing that they've tried to go after, like the baseless impeachments or the baseless special counsels or the unbelievable amount of charges they've tried to file against the president. What we're simply wanting to do here is give them cover.
Cover for what?
And I just want to pause there. Give them cover. The investigation happened underneath the Trump administration, which meant Trump's first DOJ was the one who collected all of this evidence or had all this evidence at their disposal. Ghislaine Maxwell was convicted underneath, I believe, Trump's administration. So if all of this information was underneath the Trump administration, that means Donald Trump already knows what information his team has, and he refuses to release it. Why not release it? If it's information that your team collected, that you were there when they convicted Jeffrey Epstein, you know what's in the files. The files have been in the DOJ for a while. He's not releasing them because he knows what's in the files. That's the only, let's not be naive here. He knows what's in the files. You would not be pushing this hard not to release the files if there was not anything in there that might look unsavory. And the American people do deserve to know, is our president into minors? Like, allegedly? Like, what's going on? Why are you pushing so hard to hide this? It makes no sense. What is in there that you don't want us to know?
If there's no wrongdoing, what are they giving cover for?
That's what I want to know. And I'm kind of shocked at the fact that Republicans would rather shut down Congress altogether than be transparent about pedophiles. Like, that's really ridiculous to me. And I think one of the undercovered parts of this story is the fact that if any of us at this table committed like 1/10 of Epstein's crimes, we'd be in jail for life. But this guy was rich, he was well connected, and he got away with these crimes for so long. His best friend, that's Epstein's words, became the president of the United States.
He's not denying he was a friend of his.
But why not release the files? I think what we've seen is that this government is more willing to protect
what I
rich
want to know is why the
pedophiles.
Democrat Party didn't bring this up during Joe Biden's 4 years. Why don't you release him during Biden 4 years?
But the point is, who's in power now? And who has the power to do that?
If it's important today, it was important 4 years ago.
I agree. I don't disagree with that. Like, I think it should be.
We did a second ago.
No, I'm not disagreeing with that. But what I'm saying is that the people who are in power, if there's nothing there, then just
the Democrat
release
Party's
it.
polling about 18%. They're trying to find something to divide the Republican Party.
But this was the Republican Party's thing first. The AG kept talking about this big pack of files on our desk and then brought out libs of TikTok and all these conservative influencers to show how they had the Epstein files. And then it turns out that it was nothing new in those binders and they looked like fools.
I'm not sure the Republicans really needed Democrats on this one to divide them on this issue, but they were certainly, to your point, happy to help. Up next, a front row seat to the...
I mean, Republicans did this to themselves. Like, they literally trafficked it in conspiracy theories. Donald Trump ran on the Epstein files. There's clips of him being asked numerous times on Fox News, Newsnight, all these right-leaning areas. Hey, will you release these files? Will you release these files? Will you release these files? You knew that your base wanted you to release these files. Why? Because they thought there was a bunch of Democrats in these files that were doing terrible things, and they wanted it to be exposed because they wanted the Democrat Party to explode. Well, y'all have the White House, you have the Senate, you have the House. Shoot, you even have the majority on the courts, the Supreme Court. Release the files. If there is nothing there about Donald Trump, release the files. But there is something there about Donald Trump, which is why the files aren't being released. But y'all tell me what y'all think about all this in the comments. I thought this segment right here was overlooked. It was extremely interesting to see just how much cognitive dissonance Republicans are trying to put between Donald Trump and the files, and like they might be friends, but it's okay for them to be friends. Dude, what does it say that this powerful person's best friend ended up being president of the United States of America? This is crazy. But like I said, y'all, thank y'all so much for watching this video. That's all we have for today. And I'll see you on the next one.